So I thought I didn't have the right mask, but it was. And sometimes they are very hard to figure out which side is which way is which. So I like to write on them. And usually I do this ahead of time. I put this side up or up, and this isn't working. Let me see if I can find a better pen. Put up, and then you can also do an arrow. So that's the top of the flower. And it just kind of makes it easier. That way you're not spinning it like I was. Okay, so hopefully that's dry. And now I'm going to put that over that, and I'm going to take the kindest regards stamp, and I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit so I have room to ink it. And I don't need to do a big space, just enough to cover. So just make sure you're lined up again. And hopefully I'm lined up here. All right, looks good. So lift that up and move that, and you've got the writing in the background. That was my heat gun falling off my table. So my idea with this is when you go to bundle it, you can either just bundle it and with some ribbon and make it super cute with the envelopes in the back. Just have a stack of these by themselves, which is cute. You could add some watercolors from the dollar store. You could add some watercolor pens to it so that if they feel like they want to color it in and watercolor it, they can do that. Just cute it up any way you come up with, you think of. So for this next one, I'm going to do some gift tags. This one I used the Cozy, the new IOD Cozy stamp on, which looks like a sweater pattern. And this I did with cardstock. Not cardstock, excuse me, watercolor. And so I just marked out how big I wanted each one. And then I just took a ruler and a utility knife and press firmly, because this stuff is pretty thick. And you just make some gift tags here. There we go. And then there's sides to watercolor paper. There's kind of a rough side, and then there's the not rough side. So I'm going to use the rough side to paint, or excuse me, to stamp. And I think I'm going to take the lavender from the Sprague stamp to do one. Go. And we could do one of the sweater ones. I'm going to use, let me see, I'm going to grab the green, I think. I'll do a green sweater this time. And these are a little wider than my sample here. And you can either center the snowflake in the middle of the card, or you can just, do the edge, whichever. I'm going to try to center it a little bit. I'm a little bit not straight because I wasn't straight over the card. That looks pretty cute. I have a little bit of red here because I didn't clean the stamp. I'm going to take a paper towel and a little bit of hand sanitizer and clean up my cutting mat. since I'm also stamping on it. So hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol works great for cleaning up the ink. Let's do another one. Let's see. We could do, what would be cute? Would that fit? Yeah, we could do that kind of coming off the page. So we'll grab that one. If you ever find these are hard to pull off, don't be afraid of it. Just pull it off. A lot of people are like, no, I feel like I'm stretching it or messing it up. You're not. It'll bounce back. Once again, I'm going to use the stone gray, and this time the stamp will go off the edge of the paper, and that's okay. You could also just put down paper. Usually I do this on craft paper. I stamp, but because I was doing cutting, I just left my cutting mat. So what you want to do next is just punch a hole in it, in the corner, and run some string through it. But I'm going to take this just one step further, just for fun, to show you. And I'm going to color these a little bit. And I'm going to use the Distress crayons. These are from Ranger. And what you do is you just put a little bit of color down, just like that. These are really simple to work with, and they're so much fun. And then you get a brush, and you dip it in a little water. And I get some water, yeah. And then you just move the product around. For this next part, I'm going to use watercolor paper once again, and I'm going to, this is a card size, but it's just a single. So it's like a postcard. And you can do this a couple different ways. You can do it just the paper and put it in an envelope. With an envelope, you can punch the corner of it and put ribbon so it just hangs on a package. Or you could write on the back like a postcard and send it. So I'm going to continue using the Sprague stamp, and I'm not going to stamp over the top of that. And when you're stamping, make sure that your edges are clean before you go to stamp, so that if there's any ink on it, it doesn't get onto the paper. And sometimes I talk about, trimming these back, especially this one really has a lot of edging to it. So that could almost get trimmed back a little bit. Scoot those over. And I'm going to come clear up here tall. Because I think I want to put a couple more little stamps alongside this from this group. And with the watercolor paper, because it does have some texture, you really want to get it pressed in there. Let's see, where's my lavender? we'll do that. I had it here 2 seconds ago. I'm losing everything. This is how last week was and this week is. Okay, there's the lavender. I like using the stone gray more than like the black. There's certain times where the black really, you know, it's the best, but stone gray just kind of gives it a lighter impression, a softer impression. There we go. I'm going to clean this up again. If you're not using paper underneath, keep cleaning your surface. And let's see, what else can we grab from this little guy? Maybe him. I'll grab him to stamp. Or is it a her? Who knows? It's trying to find a smaller piece of the thin mount to do. Let's see, I made a mess. So just kind of wipe it up. And it's okay to go off the paper. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and punch a hole in this. And let me see, what color would be good to add to this? Maybe we'll just do white, a white ribbon. And just thread it through there and tie it. And you could actually leave it untied, especially if you're going to add watercolors or something, because that way whoever you're giving it to can pull the ribbon out, watercolor, and then put the ribbon back in. And if you'd like, also, like on the back of the gift tags, you could add to and from stamp on the back of these. So now to group these up, I'm going to scoot these aside. You could take your envelopes, if you choose to do with the envelopes, or if you're going to do it with just the ribbon, and take some ribbon. Take your grouping and just, let's see, we want the tie on the other side, right? Yep. So you gotta kind of just wrap these up. Remove that. I have too much ribbon, so I'm gonna just do a quick cut here. And I'm going to tie a bow. And because I'm bad at tying bows, I'm going to do this first. And then I'm going to tuck in some pins or the watercolor, whatever I choose to give with this gift. But you just want to make it cute. There we go. And then you could, like I said, you could do, these are watercolor pens, these are watercolor crayons, or you could just tuck a watercolor in there. But you could buy a set and just give whoever, if you're going to do several of these, just give a set of 3 watercolor pens, just like that. Same with the gift cards, or you could just give the gift cards, the little gift tags, you know, and just bundle them up and maybe just do the ribbon around one side. You don't have to do, that way it shows, you know, what you're giving them. But that's this week's project. If you have any questions about any of the products I used, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com, and thank you for joining me. Bye.